the last 2 decades, Cameroon has witnessed a drastic decline in its forest cover caused predominantly by high levels of deforestation. It is estimated the Central African nation lost a whopping 657,000 of hectares of forest land between 2001 and 2014. Hello and welcome to this edition of the program Planet Rise, an environmental program that seeks to showcase how our positive individual actions towards the environment can cause a real global change. I will be right back. For the next 26 minutes, we are going to be examining some of the factors that account for deforestation. We are equally going to be looking at the impact of deforestation on our environment. And we're equally going to take you to a school, GBHS Fonjia, in the Boya subdivision that has taken the challenge to transform their campus into a green city. I'm joined in the studio by an environmental expert, a developmental agent by name, Mr. Dieudonné Nko. Hello and welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you very much.
And you're also popularly known as L'Homme Blanc.
Yes, that is what has been said and made by others, not myself. You've said they, not me.
Okay, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Now, Global Forest Watch, an online forest monitoring platform, estimates that Cameroon lost about 657,000 hectares of forest between 2001 and 2014. This figure is alarming, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it is. But there's a fact. We should understand certain type of things. In this country, people scarcely understand exactly our aim of being here in this world. The country is very nice, perfect, but human, you and I, people particularly, do not exactly understand. When we mix up in between politicians and others, we are making a lot of disorder, such a way that no follow-up is just carrying on, and then by the way going, we are going to lose a lot of type of things.
Now, illegal logging has been cited as one of the main drivers of deforestation in Cameroon, and many experts believe that there is a kind of failure at the level of legislation. Do you think that if the forestry laws of the country are well implemented, there would have been a less, the rate of deforestation wouldn't have been as high as it is today in the country?
Yes, of course, I understand exactly your question. What I may say is this. When we talk about legal, everything in this country is organized, made, and not followed up. What I may say is not a matter of implementation, it's totally a matter of mentality. People do not really understand. Look, in our laws, when you want to deforest, you want to cut timber somewhere. When you go through the forest, you happen to get all your papers, you go there, you have to meet first and foremost the SDO of the area. You go and see all the chiefs. Before going there, at the area, at the suburb, you have to show what you already estimated, what you are going to plant after you have cut all the timbers. But we never do that.
Yes.
People come, the loggers come, deal in their own manners, fly away with the timbers without going back to commit what has been said through the law.
So what you're saying is that we have good laws, but the problem is at the level of implementation. Because if I got you very well, the law states that when you cut trees, you should be able to replant these trees. But most of these loggers come and they cut down these trees, but they never replant the tree. But how come the government cannot track down such acts and punish them by law?
When you go through corruption, what can you say? We have got SDO, for instance, at an area. In an area, we have got a SDO, who is the one who's supposed to be following quite all the things there. Sometimes you can send gendarmes down, or people just to go and check. Once they go there, they meet the chiefs of the villages. They go through with the loggers. They bring bribes. Why they happen to take money? What are they going to go? Where is going to come the follow-up? We need to change our mentality. It's a what is going just making the failure of this country is lack of understanding. The commitment of our mentality. We have to be equal. You are a human being likewise. Myself, when I want to do something, I have to reckon in my mind that I'm in presence of a person who needs to live, who needs eating, fooling, and so far. If I don't do that, what am I going to do then?
Do you also think that sometimes the communities could be blamed for this high level of illegal exploitation of timber in a forest? Because from my understanding, sometimes these loggers come and they work with the community members and they chop away huge chunks of forest. I'll take the example of the forest around Bakassi, where there are a lot of illegal there's a lot of illegal exploitation where loggers come from Nigeria and they go into the forest, they chop down this. I mean, do you think that the community has a role to play?
All of us have got a role to play in this country. The country is not the country of the politicians or so far. Those who think that by being a minister, you just put you aside from the regulation of what is supposed to be done. If the people talk from time to time, and then there's no follow-up, there are a time in our quarter, even here in Douala, you see what people can do. A burglar comes, you see a person who is a thief. He sometimes comes and do certain type of thing to prevent. You go to the chief, you talk to the chief. The chief, instead of going to see the police or the gendarmes, never do that. What happens with us is just what we are talking about. I'm talking about mentality. If we change our mentality, the development is going to be changed. It won't be a fake something. That's what is just dragging us back. You know, you've seen, you want to call you upon. And then when they withdraw you, by the way, going here is a piece of something. You have come to gain something which is not very important. Because if all of us go through, understand, check and see, we are going to gain, and then the country is going to be in good conditions, and then there will be prosperity. But what are people to understand all about?
Well, we all have a role to play as far as maintaining and protecting our forests, our resources are concerned. Right now, we're going to watch a report that talks about the phenomenon of deforestation, and we're going to take you to a school in Boya subdivision, GBHS Ammonia, that has taken the initiative to transform their campus into a green city as their own way of contributing towards environmental sustainability. Let's watch. Cameroon's forest is the second largest in Africa at more than 23 million hectares. The forest plays a major role in the country's economic development as well as the fight against climate change. However, in the last 2 decades, Cameroon has witnessed a surge in deforestation and forest degradation. Global Forest Watch estimates Cameroon lost about 777,000 hectares of its forest between 2001 and 2015. Some of the factors accounting for this alarming rate of deforestation include population growth of about 3% per annum that has caused an expansion in the area cultivated through slash and burn system. Unsustainable logging and the conversion of large portions of forests for plantation agriculture is also a huge contribution to forest loss. The consequences of deforestation has been enormous: erosion of agricultural lands, drying up of water bodies, desertification, disappearance of plant and animal species, and global warming. The Cameroon government, faced with these effects, has undertaken steps towards massive reforestation. In February 2017, Cameroon's Minister of Environment, Elie, made known government's plans to reforest 12 million hectares of deforested land to redress the challenges of dwindling forests. Experts, however, say reforestation is good, but the government must do more to maintain tropical forests. The fight to see planet Earth safe has gone down to the younger generation. Children are taught on the importance of tree planting. Government Bilingual High School Fonjia, Boye Subdivision, has opted for a green campus with students planting trees. They say trees planted here help against windbreaks, act as shade for students, and help mitigate the effects of climate change.
We use fruit-free tree because the tree helps us for oxygen and it helps us to fight against climate change. So our teacher used to tell us that if we don't plant trees, it will destroy the atmosphere, and that sometimes we'll be having problems with breathing.
John Mbunwi Jabi is a teacher and environmentalist at GBHS Fonjia. He gives us a tour of what he calls nature's laboratory. The trees found here range from ornamental to fruit and agroforestry tree species.
Right in here we have at least 25 different species of trees. Here the seedling, this is the seedling of Pachira aquatica. Pachira aquatica actually produces a nut that is similar to groundnut. Some call it German groundnut or the French groundnut. It's edible. So Pachira aquatica is a fruit tree. These trees have the effect of mitigating climate change. That is, they have to do what we call carbon sequestration. Plants taking the carbon dioxide they breathe, and we equally need the oxygen from the plants. So while the plants are there, they help purify the air and give us the oxygen we need, while we give them the carbon dioxide they need during the day. So the importance of the plants cannot be overemphasized. Some of the plants are medicinal, some are merely ornamental, some are fruit trees. But the truth is that whether fruit tree or ornamental or whatever, all trees help to mitigate climate change.
Today, different institutions come to GBHS Fonjia to get tree seeds to make their campuses green, and the principal is a happy man.
Agroforestry here means incorporating tree farming among crop farming, such that the presence of the trees help to increase the fertility of the soil and reduce the rate of erosion. The trees are needed when certain plants are planted, like in the coffee farm. There are certain trees that are needed there to produce some shade. So planting of crops and planting trees together, that's what we call agroforestry. And there are certain trees that are recommended for agroforestry, and this Caliandra is one of them.
The culture of tree planting is still growing in Cameroon. It is hoped that Cameroonians can be more involved in making their cities green. Hello and once more, welcome. If you're just joining us, you're on to Planet Rise on Canal de English. We just watched a report there about deforestation and how one school is standing up to the challenge by replanting different types of species on their campus. Mr. Diodone, we watched the report together. I would just like to find out from you, I mean, the government of Cameroon has been investing millions for tree planting activities, but there are many people who think that most of these activities sometimes are not sustainable because trees are planted, but there's really never a follow-up mechanism to see that these trees grow up to maturity. What's your take on that?
Yes, of course, what you've come to say, or what we've come to notice, is really clear. You know, follow-up, that's what I can pick up as a word. You know, when you come, it's just like we are living in a family. You need the husband, the wife, and then we get the children. If myself happen to be, for instance, my wife, all the time happen to disappear without coming on time, where you are just staying with the children, it's going to be a mess. So the government is to put more hands, emphasis to emphasize certain type of strategy, such a way that they understand the type of people that we've got. There are people serious. When they happen to notice that in this canal, there are people that are giving all their energies to see the growth of this area, what can I do? Let the principal or the general manager take forward some disposition.
Are you saying that maybe the government has to work more with, say, civil society organizations to plant more trees, rather than depend on their traditional
workers?
Ministers?
That's what is happening. Because through there, the money they give out, for instance, 10 millions, we'll be getting down only, let's say, 2 or 3 million francs CFA.
And why is that?
They're not corruption. You understand? I've been talking about mentality. If we can't change our mentality, we are not going to success in this country. That's what is happening. From Elie down to the representative of Mr. Elie here, the ministry here. When you go to the divisional delegation, what is going to meet? When you come from there, they will be subtracting one side, 10%, 20% so far. Once they go down, instead of saying sincerely that there are trees that we can buy for 1,005, they will be giving you another price. When you happen to go through 5,000, in between 5,000, you need 3 trees. You won't be getting them just to buy and then you go and plant them. What are we going to do? We are just doing a mess. People are not reckoning on this country as their own country. They just walk as if they were just passers-by. That's what I may emphasize and say. If we change our mentality, we are going to see that this country won't be belonging to Paul Biya. It's going to be our country because he's a member of this society, you and I, and let us cope and regulate things such a way that we see the prosperity of our children. If we don't do what we are thinking, getting money through bribes and so far, not reckoning on the work that people can do, is going to be a mess.
So what you're trying to say is that sometimes these tree planting activities do not really attain their objectives because somewhere along the line, maybe the budget that is set aside for follow-up is squandered by some officials along the way. Yes. And at the end of the day, the trees are actually planted, but if they are not followed up to get to this level of maturity, then...
In Munya there, we need, for instance, one of the teachers who can decide just to go through. But going through with some children from time to time, let him observe. If the principal cannot pay attention and then supporting the action, what is he going to do? It will be a mess. We'll say that, okay, they asked me to do, we did our own part. Follow-up is not mine, by the way, going.
Yes, I think it's very important because I happen to have planted a tree in that same school, GBHS Munya, about 5 years ago. Yeah. And I was so moved, I was almost moved to tears when I went there and I saw the tree. It had attained a height. And I asked myself, is this a tree I planted? The teacher said yes. And that's because they have been following up the tree. I think that if we can all learn from this example, we can really help to build a green city for Cameroon. You wanted to say something?
We did it here. One of my friends, we went down to Bonaberi in a school. He took his money, likewise myself. We bought trees. We went there with children. We planted trees. I left a few months ago. In a sum of 245 that we planted, there are just remaining 3 today because there's no follow-up. You see, the same thing. If we don't understand our aim of being here, is not supposed to be just a journey, a useless journey. Let's turn our journey into a profitable job, such a way that those who are coming tomorrow or after tomorrow, I said Martin Luther King, when you sweep such a way that those are coming in next centuries will notice that there was somebody that was sweeping well in this condition.
We stay with tree planting, but this time around, there are the government, as we have just been saying, has been putting in a lot of money for reforestation. But there are many experts that believe that for the government to adequately fight the devastating effects of climate change, there is a need for them to protect the existing tropical forests, which can absorb a huge amount of greenhouse gases. What is your take on that?
My take is that let them stop. What I've said is perfectly fair. If you happen to follow exactly what is happening, there are people that can come, loggers come, go to the ministry, and get the authorization just to go and do. Let them stop it for a while, such a way that we are going to see that it's not going to be, the deforestation is not going to be be done in a high level, such a way that things are going to change. If they don't stop it, And then they lay it in the hands of people, expecting that there are going to be some that are going to be replanting timbers there or trees there. Is going to be a fake job. It won't be nice.
How would you assess the impact of deforestation on our environment?
In our environment, you'll see, for instance, in these days, you see some from time, there are a lot of changes. You know, in an ancient time, we know that as from June to September, this is going to be a period that we are going to get a lot of rains. But things are changing. You may see that you can tackle as from June to July, and then it's going to be sunny in such a way that you do not understand. Because when they happen to till ground, we till the soil, we are expecting to see the growth during rainy season. Rainy season is changing such a way that it's a mix-up, such that you are going to work today, expecting tomorrow to harvest, you won't be harvesting anything else, just because sun has come and then has just vanished, it will get vanished away all the trees that you have already planted.
So what you're saying is deforestation is directly responsible for the climate change we have today.
A lot of.
What about other people who think that the number of floods that we have today in our society is also linked to the high level of deforestation that occurs?
That's the fact, because when there's nothing to protect on that area, then when Douala is completely opened, it's totally open, there's no tree and there's nothing we can do. When floods come, it's going to erupt and then destroy what we've done already.
Okay, we went down to the streets of the town of Boya and we spoke to some inhabitants of that part of the country to find out if they have ever planted a tree and what importance do trees represent to them. Let's take a listen, or let's watch.
To me, I believe tree planting is something that is very important to the society. But you asking me of me or I've ever planted a tree, I can say no. And reason being that I don't see it as my responsibility to plant a tree, because I know that there's a government, there's a council who can take charge of that. So I don't see that it's my responsibility to plant a tree.
Yes, I've ever planted a tree and I planted it for it to grow so that it's fruit for fruit.
Yes, when I was growing up, I was used to planting plum tree, mango tree, those trees that bear fruit, so that I have a notion that tomorrow I'm going to harvest, and my children also harvest, and my friends today.
Trees are life, because they take off carbon dioxide from us and give us the oxygen we breathe. So if somebody is living and doesn't envy planting a tree, then you have no right to take what the tree is giving, because trees give us the oxygen that we need.
Yes, I've planted trees. Even as young, I helped my parents to plant trees. On my own, I've planted trees, not trees. Planted several trees.
I've planted pear and plum tree with guava tree, and I planted them because I want to achieve the fruit from them.
The importance of the tree, I mean, it gives, at least, it gives oxygen. It takes oxygen from it, beautify the environment.
Tree is very important because, you know, it helps in like you building the ecosystem. You know, like making the environment to be cool, areas to be somehow fresh. At least when there is tree, you know, we have our own oxygen from the plants. They send out oxygen while they send out oxygen. While we take in oxygen, then we give them back the carbon dioxide. So it's very important. We build the ecosystem in a very natural. I think that it is very important.
Besides providing food, I know that all plants provide carbon dioxide. Also, maybe something they have to help to our environment. We breathe out carbon dioxide, they take in and give us oxygen, kind of thing. I'm not a science teacher.
It's important to plant a tree, because when as they are selling this like pear, when they want to sell it at the roadside, you pass them, you want to buy one, they will tell you that one is 200 francs. But when you plant your own in your farm, you just go and harvest it and you gain from that.
Welcome back. Mr. Dieudonné, I mean, when I listened to the interview, there's one that caught my attention. Somebody who says that he thinks that it is not his responsibility to plant trees, but that of the government. I mean, how do you convince individuals to understand that they as individuals have a role to play towards saving their planet?
Yes, I want people to understand this. All of us are responsible of this country first, of the planet. You see, planet rise. It means a lot of things. So we are all responsible of what is supposed to be taking place in this way, such a way that he who says that is not responsible, I would like him to understand that he needs to change his mentality, his understanding, such a way that if he puts hand, lays hand on, he's going to feel a lot of things just evolving.
Well, it's on that note that we've come to the end of this edition of the program on Planet Rise on Canal de English. Thanks for watching, and why not take the initiative of planting trees in order to save our planet and make our world green. Goodbye and have a good day.